Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. Alright, it's time for more pure fiction, and I swear, this time around, I almost lost it trying to get 3 stars on this particular stage. I literally spent the last couple of days attempting the stage, and after failure after failure, I was almost tempted to build up my Herda just so I could have a character with follow-up attack. If you guys don't have any characters that deal follow-up attacks, I'm not gonna lie, this particular season of Pure Fiction is going to be rough. Very difficult. But finally, after last night, I had my miracle run and we cleared it with 3 stars. For the first half, I used my Imbibitor Lunane team, which featured Pela, Ting Young, Ruan Mei, and of course Imbibitor Lunane himself. And for the buff, I used the only buff I could use, which is Flattery. Every time you use your ultimate, it is considered a follow-up attack. All the other ones wouldn't work because none of my characters have follow-up attacks. For the second half, I used my Zile with her hypercarry teammates, which include Zile herself, Bronya, Sparkle, and Fu Xuan as the tank and sustain. The buff is the same, Flattery as well. There are no follow-up attacks, so I have to rely on Zile's ultimate damage to deal the AoE. Okay, and then as usual, I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. Okay, so for the first half, we start off with 2 Ting Young techniques, Ruan Mei's technique, and we'll start off the fight with Pela's technique for the ice break as well as the defense down. Immediately spam the 2 key onto Lunane, so he gets his energy, and we use up Ting Young's energy before it's her turn. There's Ruan Mei's ultimate. Here we're going to hit the Golem here, only with a level 2 enhanced basic attack. The key to using Imbibitor Lunane, particularly in Pure Fiction, is to not overkill the mobs with your skill 3 and potentially waste skill points. So that's what we're trying to do. Here's Pela's ultimate. Ideally, I probably should have used Pela's ultimate first. I don't know if... I'm pretty sure Lunane's ultimate came up first, but I probably should have waited. Used Pela's ultimate and then used Imbibitor Lunane's ultimate for even more damage. Yeah, these golems really, for the first half, you really need weakness breaks, or at least characters that have the element to weakness break these golems. Otherwise, you don't really do a lot of damage. As you can see, they really don't take much damage until they're like weakness broken. Here's a level 3 enhanced basic attack. Only 3 mobs left. Deciding whether I should hit it or buff up my Lunane. I decide to buff him up. He gets hit here anyways, so we get to cast the ultimate. It's not going to do as much as it normally would, just due to the Golem being there. That's kind of a waste of the Turbulence, but or the buff, whatever you want to call it, for Pure Fiction, but there's not much you can do about it. Here's Pela's ultimate again. Hit the Trotter. We're trying to kill it before, what do you call it, the end of the cycle. There's Ting Young's ultimate again on Lunane. Here we kill off the Trotter. Here I believe I'm going to use a level 2 enhanced basic. Well, we only have 2 skill points, so I don't have a choice. Regardless, it allows us to get our ultimate, chain the ultimate into the Trotter for the most potential damage. Okay, and there's the buff. Clears out the whole wave. Level 3 enhanced basic attack. Most of the time I decide to use my level 3 enhanced basic attack when he gets his free skill points. But that's only applicable to, what do you call it? Lunane when he uses his ultimate.
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
You're deciding if I should buff Lunane. I decide to. Unfortunately, this cycle is over. We only got 2 cycles left. And unfortunately there I did not have enough skill points for a level 2 enhanced basic attack. But I guess it's okay. It's pretty rough. Only having 1 Harmony character. I guess it's 2. Ruan Mei as well. But I don't know. Lunane just has trouble dealing with this particular half. If I put him on the other half, he would have done a lot better with both Sparkle and Bronya. Or Sparkle and Ting Young, ideally, are his best Harmony partners. There's level 3 enhanced basic attack into the ultimate. Since the skill points are free, we're going to use this enhanced basic attack at level 3 again. Here, I believe I don't buff Lunane, I just go for the attack. Oh, I do buff him. Okay, into the ultimate. Oh, we definitely don't have enough skill points now for Ruan Mei's buff. Not that it really matters, since none of them are, or most of the plants aren't weak to imaginary. They are, a few of them are weak to ice, so the weakness break efficiency does help out a bit. Gonna kill off this plant. Or almost kill it off. Apparently Ting Young's basic doesn't do enough. Neither does Pela's basic. My Pela's actually built on a damage dealing set. There's the buff, or whatever you want to call it. Pela's down, unfortunately, so rip her. We don't have a sustainer for this half. Okay, level 3 enhance into an ultimate. I go for the other side because I want to deal as much damage as I can with the ultimate without wasting it, so I can proc the buff. That did not do enough, unfortunately. Not really any good targets here, so I just go for the main deer, even though it doesn't matter how much damage you deal to a deer, because he won't die until you clear out all of the mobs, and that's clearly not going to happen on the first half. Right, hits Lunane. I believe I use my skill here just so I have enough for the ultimate on Ting Young. Use it onto Lunane, and advance him forward just enough to get his ultimate, thanks to the dance. So now Lunane gets to use up an entire 2 turns. And this also procs the buff, dealing more damage, and allowing us to get a fairly respectable score, sort of. Almost 28k. Now Zilei's half Bronya technique into Sparkle, Fushuan technique, and we initiate the fight with Zilei's technique. So with this, our Zilei team needs to get at least a little over 32k in order for me to 3-star. And believe it or not, this took quite a few attempts. The Lunane half actually was my first attempt versus this half. Oof, I lost count how many times I attempted this. But with some somewhat decent RNG, I managed to do it. Actually, if I had even better RNG at the end, you'll notice later when we get to it, I probably could have full cleared the second half with my Zilei team. That just shows you how strong Zilei is. If you have a well-geared Zilei and you actually play her Resurgence turns and resets properly. Alright. Here, I don't have enough skill points, but I thought about it. I can use the Zilei's ultimate here on one of the mobs, get the Resurgence proc, use a basic attack to generate the skill point. There's the buff anyways, which is exactly what I do. I use the basic attack here to generate a skill point. And now we use Sparkle's skill, and we also have enough energy for her ultimate. So now Zilei can have another set of Resurgence turns. There you go. Nice and simple. And we advance forward her again with Bronya. And now we use Bronya's ultimate. Yeah, I swear, when you pair someone like Zilei who can have multiple turns and multiple buffs. Also here is going to be a huge ultimate. If it crits, of course it's going to crit, luckily. So then on the next turn we get the buff and it explodes and kills everything. So yeah, a lot of RNG on this half. If my Zilei misses the crit on her ultimates, it's actually huge. She needs to land those crits, because if she misses it, not only does it not deal enough damage sometimes to kill the mobs, but it also doesn't give enough damage for the particular buff in this season of Pure Fiction. The more damage you deal with your follow-up attacks or ultimates in this particular situation, because I picked the ultimate buff that considers ultimates as follow-up attacks. Also, I got lucky there with the TV. I decided to give my Zilei some energy. Then obviously you won't be able to trigger them. So here's the ultimate again from Zilei. Gonna kill off this TV. This one does crit, but doesn't deal quite as much damage. I don't think Zaylee had any huge buffs on her from both, what do you call it, Sparkle and Bronya. Alright, we're gonna push Zaylee up. No skill points, so we'll basic attack. Into another basic attack. Gives Bronya some energy so she can ult. Yeah, these TVs, you gotta play around the TVs on this particular half too. You either want to kill them as fast as possible or attack them in a way where they actually benefit you rather than... Because every time, if they're in that like angered state and they attack you, they'll, what do you call it, reduce the energy for everyone on your team. Here, I decide to just basic attack the dog because it actually pushes Bronya forward. So as you can see, Bronya's at the bottom of the action list. Instead, if I used her skill and pushed Zaylee up, I would have overkilled that mob, and Bronya wouldn't have gotten an extra turn on this particular cycle. So sometimes you gotta take a look on the turn order or the cycle order and see what you actually need to do. It doesn't matter what target we hit, just hit something, Fushun. Yeah, just bonk the fish. Alright, this is the annoying part. If you don't have a solo sustainer or any sort of sustain, this is where you usually die. It's when, I forgot the name. Cirrus? Yeah, Cirrus, that stupid eyeball looking thing, will push up all the mobs that he or she spawns. And this happens quite often, and they'll just do chain attacks on your team. And you'll basically die if you don't have at least some sort of sustain, whether it's Fushun, Huo, Luocha, or even if you have like someone like Japard, Fire Trailblazer, Bailu. You need some sort of sustain, basically. I mean, it's not impossible to do without a solo sustainer. You have to like play your turns absolutely perfectly and have some pretty decent RNG as well. Now we're going to push up Zaylee again with no skill points, but what do you call it? Some of the mobs are so low to a point where she can get her Resurgence proc. Here's Bronya's ultimate. Zaylee is just going to bonk one of these. I'm choosing the ones with the, what do you call it, defense downs. I want to save one of them, because if you guys didn't know, okay, so I'm going to use Zaylee's ultimate here. It's actually going to scale off how much defense down they have. So this is going to do 2,260k damage. Even though like that mob had little to no HP, I chose to attack that one because it charges the, what do you call it? The buff for this particular Pure Fiction season. So that way we get more AoE damage out of it. See, here's 100% again. More AoE clears. Now this is going to get very annoying. There's 3 fish here and they all defense break me. So luckily we have Fushun to keep my team alive. And then I get unlucky here. There's a few turns where Zaylee's skill, I'm not sure if I just didn't crit or I didn't have the proper buffs from Bronya and what do you call it, Sparkle on her at the time. But she just like doesn't kill or get the Resurgence proc from the fish. And there's, if I gotten a few of these, I'm pretty sure I would have been able to full clear 40k this second half of the stage here. Choosing a target here. I'm going to go for this fish just to be safe. And once again, I'm going to choose the target here for my ultimate. And it does 22k. Or not 22k, 220k. Which allows me to obviously trigger the buff. I think we play it safe here and just go for the fish that's right about to die. I don't even use a skill, I just go for a basic here. I'm going to push up, what do you call it, Zaylee here. Play it safe, go for that mob, get the Resurgence proc. Here I think I go for one of the fish, and if I just killed that fish there, or landed a crit on that fish, I think it would have helped quite a bit. Because it would have defense broken everyone, and I might have gotten enough energy for Zaylee's ultimate. I mean, I get it here anyways, because one of the mobs hit me. So I go for the one with, oh, there you go. That's one that, what do you call it, might have ruined the run. My ultimate didn't crit there. It missed the crit. If that landed a crit, it probably would have triggered the buff again, the Pure Fiction buff, and then a huge AoE would have came. So that's one missed ultimate. I mean, my Zaylee has 65% crit rate. That's without Fushuan's Matrix. And with Fushuan's Matrix, I think it's about 76 or 77% crit rate. So every 1 in 4 times she uses her ultimate, she's going to miss the crit, unfortunately. I mean, that's just Relic RNG for you right there. We push Zile up with Bronya's ultimate as well. I think I play it safe here, and I literally just go, yeah, I just go for that one. Because I've been missing a lot of my skills here. Here we do get the kill off on the fish. Here I'm trying to pick one of the mobs with the most defense break. Obviously it's going to be that one with the 2 defense breaks. And quantum weakness. Oh man, and see, there you go. Even though that did 70k damage, imagine if that crit. That probably would have did over 200k. And even though it did spawn the buff, it probably would have spawned the buff and have like, I don't know, 66% charge for the next half. So that ends it. I couldn't push up Zile or Bronya. So there you go. Very close. 64k to end things off. Alright, now let me go over my characters and their gear, as well as their stats. Let's start off with Pela. This is her Lycone, Silverwolf's Lycone. Traces still fairly uninvested. I was also very tempted to put some points in her Traces, but I was like, no, don't do it. You're better off just building Pela at that point if you're struggling that much. Relics, 4-piece Musketeer. They're basically Silverwolf's relics, except for the planar spheres. Eidolons, she's at Eidolon 5. Okay, next is Ting Young. These are her stats. Lycone, I gave her Dance, Dance, Dance. This one is at Superimposition 2. Later on, you'll see I have another copy on a different character. Traces, I was also tempted to invest. I probably will in the future, but I have other characters that I gotta work on. So, these are her relics. I have her on a Musketeer 4-piece because I believe Ruan Mei is on the speed set, the Hackerspace set already, so there's no point in getting 2 if you don't have to. Eidolons, she's at Eidolon 4. Next is my Ruan Mei. These are her stats, lacking a little bit of break effect. She only needs, I believe, 6% more? Was it 160 or 170? I forgot. Either way, very close for the break effect. These are her traces. Fairly well invested. I don't think the last 2 points in any of her skills are really worth the investment, unfortunately. Relics, she's on the 4-piece speed, Hackerspace set, and Broken Keel. Eidolons, she does not have any. And here is my Imbibitor Lunane. These are his stats. Lycone is on the Fall of an Eon at S5. Traces are fully maxed out. Here are his relics. They're relatively the same, except I swapped his boots from attack percent to speed. Ideally, you want your Lunane to be faster for pure fiction, or just don't use them at all, period. As for Eidolons, you guys should already know if you've been watching my videos, he's at Eidolon 2. Alright, next is my Zile, the star of today's video, or today's show. Actually, not really. To be fair, the only reason she was able to do what she did for the second half was because of the supports. So in reality, the stars would be the Harmony characters, not really the hyper carries. Anyways, these are her stats. If only she had, like, a little bit more crit rate. I mean, this is already enough with Fushuan's Matrix, but that kind of forces me to put Zile with Fushuan in every team comp that I play Zile with, or I have to mess around with her relics to get her to 70% crit rate. Her Lycone is cruising in the Stellar Sea at S5. Traces are almost maxed out, minus her basic attack. I honestly think it's not really worth it, although I did spam her basics quite a bit in this particular pure fiction in order to stay skill point efficient. These are relics 4-piece quantum set that I spent a literal eternity farming, and they still aren't. I mean, they're good, but they could be better. Your relics could always be better. They always could be, unless you're like a mega whale. Eidolons, she does not have any Eidolons. Alright, and here is Bronya. After almost 1 year, she finally makes her debut. These are her stats. I did my best to build up a scuffed Bronya as best as I could with the leftover crit damage speed gear I had. Everything else is on Sparkle, basically. Her light cone is her signature light cone, but the battle isn't over, of course. These are her traces, relatively low investment. If I do want to put more investment later on, I probably will. But for now, I think this is good enough. Relics are the 4-piece speed set, and the broken keel set, of course. I basically gave her all my slower 4-piece speed set, and I gave the faster pieces to Sparkle, which I think is correct. That's how you want to speed tune them. As for Eidolon, she does not have any currently. Okay, and next is Sparkle, basically Bronya 2.0. These are her stats. I finally got her to 200% crit damage after upgrading her traces. Very nice. Her light cone is the second Dance copy I've had. I figured having 2 is better than just superimpositioning 1 into like a higher level. You'll get more copies later, and they do stack if you have 2 characters of this light cone on the same team, so I figure it's a pretty good investment, especially in Pure Fiction. You want the more turns you get, the better your runs will be. These are her traces. I was planning on maxing out her skill, but I decide against it since I feel like I probably should be farming my traces for both Black Swan and Kafka. My DOT team is definitely not finished yet. But anyways, I'll probably eventually max this. It's just that I decided to stray away from it. But these are her trace investments for now. Relics is the 4-piece speed set. I wanted to make a broken keel set on her, but I tried it, and it would make her either too slow or not have enough crit damage. So for now, her planar sphere and link rope are just broken pieces. As for Eidolons, she does not have any. Okay, and last but not least is Fu Shren. These are her stats. Light Cone, she's on day 1 of my new life instead of the Japard Light Cone I usually put her on. She loses a little bit of like HP and defense, but she provides better survivability overall to my team with this light cone. These are her traces. Also was tempted to level up her ultimate a bit just for a little bit more damage, but honestly that's probably a stupid idea and a waste of resources. These are her relics. I changed it up a bit. Usually she's on a 2-piece HP and a 2-piece speed, or a 2-piece HP, 2-piece defense set, but I wanted the extra crit rate for Pure Fiction. Every little bit of damage honestly helps out in this particular game mode. As for Eidolons, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this Honkai Star Rail video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next Honkai Star Rail video. Peace.
Wanna spar? Disappear!